For a little over a year, I've been running a system with a 9900K and 2080 Super inside the Laser LZ7 XT8, one of my favorite ITX cases of all time. That system has been working out perfectly, but with the new releases from AMD with their new CPUs and NVIDIA with their new 30 series graphics cards, it's time to upgrade. So today, we're going to upgrade my personal system. Now my system's still going strong and I really honestly had no intention of upgrading, but then I saw the new Ryzen CPU launch and the 5900X, that just seemed like the perfect processor for what I do, which is gaming and obviously video editing and doing some 3D rendering as well. The amount of threads, the amount of cores, that just seemed like the perfect processor and a nice step up from the 8 cores and 16 threads I got from my 9900K. While the 2080 Super is still a very good card, it certainly cannot hold a candle to the new 3080s. They simply pump out more frames, especially if you're looking to do some 4K gaming like I am. That upgrade was a no-brainer. Luckily, I was able to get an EVGA XC3 model in the 3080. That is the triple fan. It's one of the slimmer models though. It's almost 2 slots. It's about 2.15 slots, I guess you could say. One of the thinner models, and it can fit into most ITX cases. As for the motherboard, if you're looking to do a high-end ITX build with the new Ryzen processors, the Asus ROG Strix X570i gaming is going to be the best option for you. It has the best combo of VRM cooling, M.2 drive compatibility, and it looks really, really good. It also has 3 fan headers, which is something a lot of the boards do not have. So if you're running an AIO, some system fans, you're going to be able to connect them up with no problem, as well as more USB-A ports than you would typically get from some of the other Ryzen boards that are out there on the market. Storage is another area where I really wanted to make some big upgrades. In my old system, I had dual 500 gigabyte 970 EVOs, which are great. They were really fast, but it simply wasn't enough storage. So I had to also add 2 1 terabyte SATA drives into that system. So I don't want to run those cables anymore. I want things to be as compact and tight as possible, especially when I'm trying to fit high-end components into a tight case. So instead of that setup, I'm going to go with a single NVMe drive. That's going to be the 970 EVO Plus, but a 2 terabyte version. Then I'm going to go with another M.2 drive, but the SATA version, an 860 EVO, that's 2 terabytes as well. So I have 4 terabytes total of fast SSD storage. I'll be able to store my video files, etc. on the NVMe drive and my games on that 2 terabyte drive, and that should be more than enough space for what I need. The system RAM is also getting a major upgrade. I'm going from 32 gigs of 3000 RAM to 64 gigs of 3200 RAM at CL16, so decently fast, not the fastest obviously, but plenty fast for what I'm doing. More importantly, I'll have enough RAM to do literally anything that I could possibly want to do. The only piece that will be staying from the old build is going to be the power supply, the Corsair SF600, a great unit that should be plenty powerful to power this system even with a 3080 in it. Now, even though the new Ryzen CPUs are very efficient, they still do require a decent amount of cooling. So I'll be upgrading from my NOC to a U9S, which is a great compact cooler for nice compact cases like the LZ7, to an NZXT X53, which is a 240mm AIO, which should be able to handle higher temperatures and overclocks in a nice compact system still. A little tip for the ITX builders out there: if you are using a 240mm AIO in your system, in a compact system like I am, and you want to save a little space, the Noctua NFA 12x15, the slimmer version of their 120mm fan, works great on radiators. It has similar performance to the full 25mm version, but you can also get it in the Chromax Black, so it basically disappears in your system and gives you an additional 10mm of space between your components and your fan blades. This will actually be my first liquid-cooled personal rig since before I even started this channel. It's been years, but having this powerful CPU in a compact case really necessitates liquid cooling. Speaking of the case, I wanted something that was still very compact. I am building an ITX system after all. I wanted something that looked really good, that matched with the decor and the layout of my desk. And I also wanted something obviously that could handle the additional components that I'm just going to put inside, mainly being the liquid cooling. And that led me to the Nouvolo Steck, which is a great case. I reviewed the Steck without its top hat and also with its top expansion unit for liquid coolers, and that's the version that we're going to be obviously going with today. A nice super compact and flexible case that should be able to handle these components. All right, so we have the full system assembled here. I'm using the stock cables for the SF600. With custom cables, you could definitely clean this up and tidy it up a bit, but there is room to mount the power supply cables behind the power supply. There's a little space in between, a little gap there for that. But overall, a very tidy system. There's enough space to route the cables, especially if you use the slim fans like I did on the radiator here. Let's take a look around the other side. You can see on the GPU side, it fits very nicely. It is rather snug. The shroud is touching the side panel here, or the little side piece there of the case, but it's not creating too much pressure, and it should be fine. The case closes just fine. Everything does actually fit in there. It's just going to be a little snug. You can see our fan here. It pushes a little bit of air into the GPU and also onto the power supply on the other side. And there's plenty of space for the fans to get air. I haven't had any trouble with rubbing or anything like that. It's not the ideal case for this configuration, but because this card runs so cool and quiet, you should be fine with the panel pressed up against it pretty flush. Now, I did make one modification to this case, and that would be the top panel. You take a look here. There were 3 bars going across, and I found that was limiting airflow. So I cut these 2 off, and it actually dropped the temperatures by about 3 degrees on average that I was seeing. So it does increase the overall airflow and allow more air to escape the case from what I've seen so far. So a worthy mod if you're thinking about modifying your case. I'll probably try to take this one out as well just to see if I can increase airflow even further. Some of you will also notice that my Steck sits pretty flush to the desk. That is because I removed the 2 feet. There's 2 bar style feet that come stock on the case. You can remove them with some simple screws and pop on some rubber feet of your choice. This case does not come with those rubber feet. You're gonna have to get these. I got these for like $7 from Amazon. So a simple mod, just unscrewing those feet. You can make it nice and clean and flush, more similar to like a Ghost S1 or a case like that. Another quick note, I've tried a lot of compact antennas for ITX style cases and for smaller devices. These, in my opinion, have been the only ones that have really been as good as the larger antennas so far. I'll link to them in the description. They're not very expensive, but for me, so far, they've worked really good. They sit upright, they point upwards, so they look cool. They sit pretty flush to the case, and they actually work. They actually give you the same type of speeds you should expect from a full-size antenna. So that is the build. I think it turned out really, really well. I've been very happy with it so far. I'm gonna do a follow-up video where we go over actually tuning the PC. So overclocking the CPU, the RAM, as well as undervolting the GPU and giving that a slight overclock as well. Also cable management, we can touch on that, temperatures, all that fun stuff. I'll put that in the follow-up video. You can also see that data or some of it in the article on the website. But for now, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you like the component selection? Have you been able to find any 30 series graphics cards or the new Ryzen CPUs for yourself? Let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe as always. Look out for that follow-up video. I'll see you guys next time.